Okay.
Thank you. Okay. I want to talk about how to learn string figures, and by learning string figures, how to learn. I had a class in the high school that I taught in, LaGuardia High School of Music and Art in New York City, for 20 years, and I taught nothing in the class except string figures every day for a term. And every student became very good at making string figures, and it helped them to gain confidence in the way that they learned everything else in the curriculum, including math, which is what I did it for, is to help them learn how to do math. One of the figures that I started off with was the inuit fishnet. It starts, as most string figures do, thumbs, little finger, so you have a palmer string. Pull your hands apart. Use your right hand first, usually. It's called opening A. Slide under the palmer string and pull apart. Slide in the center under the palmer string and pull apart. And you will see that you have two straight across strings, one on your thumb, one on your little finger, on the outside of each, and two crossing strings in the center. The way that the figure is made is that the thumb reaches over the near index, under the far, reaches under the near little finger string, use the shoulders of the thumb to pull back to the position that it had in the beginning. Then the middle fingers reach down into this area here. I call it going into the well, but you reach down under the far thumb string, lift it out, and drop your thumbs. That is the first inuit weave. Then, in order to finish the figure, you reach over the near index again, under everything, and pull the far little finger string, and you'll see that's the straight across string or transverse. Then the middle finger loop is placed onto the little finger without twisting or turning in any way. The index fingers are dropped, and then both little finger strings are put back on the index without twisting. The three lesser fingers come in and replace the thumb and pull down, and you have a straight across string on the bottom and a straight across string on the top. You can reach through this hole held by the three lesser fingers up and pull down the far index string and pull it back through the hole until you can reach back with the thumb and catch the straight across string again and drop all three fingers and put all three fingers back, and you can see that you now have the bottom of the net fixed. Then you put your thumbs up and transfer the index loops to your thumb. The index finger comes in under this second string, pushes it out of the way. The middle fingers come in and help you pinch out, up and out. The top transverse string, the thumbs drop, and you have the inuit fishnet. Now, mathematically speaking, there are several operations involved, but the one which is most important is the first one, because if you go over the near index, pick up the near little finger, pull back, and lift out, you have put information into the system. Perhaps you would think about it, and you would take the middle finger back, loop back onto your thumbs, and then you would try to weave again. Go over and lift the near little finger string. Now, take the outside and twist it 1/2. And take the outside and twist it 1/2. And then reach down and get to be careful. Reach down and get the proper string and drop it, and I did it wrong on the left side. You have to be careful. If you do it right, they both release. I will try to do that again. Back to the original situation. Over one, pick up, lift, over, return, over one, pick up, take the outside, lift through, take the outside, lift through onto the middle finger, and you see that you have erased that. So what you're really doing mathematically is you have an operation, and then you have the inverse operation, and the inverse operation finished erases itself. And it doesn't matter in which order you do that. You can do the inverse operation first, and then do the original, and it again erases itself, because an inverse operation followed by an operation, or an operation followed by its inverse operation, always results in 0, or the original position, opening A, in my North American Indian system of making string figures. And don't be alarmed by the idea of having a system of making string figures, because essentially what you do, if you learn a simple figure like the inuit net and pay attention to it, and then begin to decode it so that you can pick it apart and use the small parts of it in intelligent ways, you can build a vocabulary of operations to make very complex string figures. For example, let's think about that figure I just made, or those operations I just talked about. Suppose you were to get a longer string, and you were to do the original inuit, and then roll the figure entirely over 1/2 so that you have it where you were looking at the bottom, or the other side of the figure. Then you do the inverse, and by having rolled the figure, and again roll the figure away, and this time you want to roll one extra in the center so that you can isolate that information that you have put into the system. And then you can do this again. It's called an iteration. The original inuit net, weave, roll the figure, the inverse of the inuit net, weave, roll the figure, and do the center an extra time. We will do that one more time. Figure, anyway, first move, roll the figure, inuit net, first weave, inverse, roll the figure, and add 1, 2. Now we're going to do the inuit net from the very beginning. Over, pick up, lift out, and then over, pick up, transfer to the little fingers, drop, transfer to the index, hold down, reach and pull for the bottom, and then clean up the top. And now we have a complex figure. We've done 2 operations and lots of other things 3 times, so we should have 3 similar results in the figure. Now, in order to lift out that information, I use what is called Murphy's power lift, because I figured it out. Take all that information on the thumb and little finger, reach with the thumb under the near little finger strip, reach back with the middle and the index so that you can lift out, and this time you catch your thumb and you can lift out that figure. Now this string is a little coarse because I'm trying to get a string that you can see the figure, the strings when I'm doing it. I will make that figure again and have another video with a thinner string, and you will see that that figure is indeed very, very beautiful. But again, the whole idea is to take a simple beginning figure, to analyze it mathematically, find the inverse operations, for example, and then figure out a way to use those two ideas, the operation and the inverse operation, and a complex figure so that you can make a more beautiful and more complex figure. Thank you.
Oh.